my god, are you ever gonna freaking download? What the heck? Is this gonna work? Arg. I don't understand. That's not right. Hello? Are you kidding me? I know this isn't right, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Yes, of course it's incorrect because you just changed your fucking password. Hopefully that worked. You sure about that? You sure about that? Thank you. Okay, finally. god, you still haven't freaking downloaded? Okay, you're over. You're done. I could use this to listen to stuff.
I will be surprised if Macron can survive this. What do I know about France? But we'll see. It's good to see. I love the French because they like to riot, they like to protest, they have strong worker protection, stuff like that. And so
they chopped royalties' heads off a long time ago.
Yeah, they chopped off they chopped off the royalties' heads with the guillotine. So I don't think that they've lost that spirit. So bravo to France, and keep going. Hey, it looks like all heck is broken loose in Paris and in France in general. They had to call out 80,000 cops. People, I think, have, when the French have had it with someone, they've had it with someone. And I'm pretty sure they've had it with Macron. Block everything protests sweep across France. Scores arrested. Here's
I blame Candace Owens, Jimmy.
I blame her. Protests staged in cities across France. Police move in to remove blockades. Nearly 300 protesters were arrested. Protesters are angry with planned budget cuts and politicians. Protesters from across France obstructed highways, burned barricades, clashed sporadically with police on Wednesday in a show of anger against Emmanuel Macron, the political elite, and planned spending cuts. Authorities had to deploy more than 80,000 security personnel, otherwise known as cops, across the country, removing barriers and containing unrest as tensions cleared in several places. In Paris, riot police periodically used tear gas to disperse crowds. Almost 200 people were detained at the capital. The Block Everything movement, a broad expression of discontent that has spread on social media, sprang up online in May among right-wing groups, but has since been co-opted by the left and the far left. So it seems like everybody's coming together. That's what it seems like, to block everything and get rid of the Macron. Block Everything movement. Thousands of French people are protesting on the streets of Marseille, France. Their goal, cripple the economy and get President Emmanuel Macron out. So that's what you have to do. When voting doesn't work, you have to figure out a way to put a pain into the capitalists. That's like what the truckers did in Canada during COVID. They figure out a way to exert economic pain. And so that's what it looks like. Look at this. Look what's happening. Hey, let's see if is there music to this? No.
Hey, what's up? What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. This has been a wild day, and I guess almost 24 hours, a little less than 24 hours now. So if some of you guys may have noticed, so we recorded an episode yesterday, and like the way we typically do it is we record, we go live.
One of Roxanne's reasons for fucking hating me or whatever is because I never did her hair. I literally have an invoice right here for a deposit. I sent her a deposit. I literally sent her a deposit to do her hair, and she just never fucking answered it.
Kind of wrong to post an episode that wasn't addressing what had just happened, which is really quite something.
Crazy.
This one, I don't know how long this episode's going to be. I'm just going to kind of talk and give my thoughts on this. I'm not really sure how much time that'll end up taking up, but I'll just kind of say what I have to say. I'm going to try my best to kind of give my thoughts on what is an enormous event, like culturally and politically, but to just admit off the top here that I'm really rattled by this. I mean, really, this really fucked me up. And I was literally just tweeting that I'm gonna go do an episode now and it'll be out soon. And I just wrote, I'll be giving my thoughts on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And this, because I bet, it's like I'm talking about my perspective on it, but I bet this is the truth for a lot of people listening. I get all the time. I get people who, like, when I meet people, like after comedy shows or just out like in life, and I'll meet people who are fans of the show. And one of the things that I hear people say all the time, it's a funny thing, and I mean I get this so much, but people will come up to me and they'll be like, this is kind of weird because like I feel like I know you, and that's so like what I always say to them when they say that is like, well, yeah, you do. People ask me all the time. Another question I get all the time is people will just say like, what's Joe Rogan really like? Or what's Tucker Carlson really like? I always say to them, you already know. You already know who they are. So it's like when people come up and go, oh, I feel like I know you, I often tell them that I know exactly how you feel, because like I've met people whose shows I listened to for many years and I felt like I knew them, and in many cases then I got to actually know them, and I realized I did know them the whole time, because you get to know somebody, especially when people aren't being duplicitous. Like, you get to know somebody if you listen to them for hours and hours and hours. And so like somebody who's listened to 1,000 episodes of this show does know me, at least pretty well, So anyway, I say all of that to say that I'm kind of affected by this because I know Charlie. I knew Charlie. I was just with him. It's a really fucking weird feeling. It's a weird thing to see someone you just know get, just murdered in cold blood like that. But anyway, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I think for a lot of you it's kind of the same feeling, like it is someone as on the last episode I was talking about how jarring and that the video of the Charlotte stabbing was, and how much I was affected by it, and I really meant that. I did not realize I was going to get off that show and be even, substantially more jarred by another disturbing video. But I don't know. I mean, of course, it's partially because, I was just with the guy not that long ago. We were just hanging out, and, it's someone It's also someone who does, he doesn't do exactly the same thing as me, but it's not that far off. And so, obviously, there's just a lot that's really came off as very genuine to me. I think that I think Charlie was the type of guy who if you were an intern at Turning Points, or if you were some kid who attended a Turning Point event who caught Charlie Kirk outside for a few minutes, you just get that everyone would have had the story that oh, he was just the nicest guy in the world to me. It was whatever, anything helps, which is a funny thing because that actually means so much more to me than what someone's politics are. I've always, kindness and manners means so much more to me than politics. I've had I don't know, say just an example. There's some people who are really shitty to servers. They're shitty to waitresses and waiters and stuff like that. They'll be shitty to people who are serving on them. That is so much more important than what your politics are. If you're if you agree with me on everything, but you're a dickhead to some fucking 22-year-old who's bringing you food, I prefer a communist who's kind to that person. Anyway, so Charlie was just, in my experience, just a really, really nice guy, and I know that he's, he leaves behind a wife and 2 little kids, and it's just goddamn heart-wrenching. It's really just horrible. I got a wife and 2 little kids myself, and that just that absolutely crushes my soul. That they have to, they have to have their family destroyed, and anyway, it was I think, I don't know what else you can say about it. Man, I really between just like, I mean, that it was like I had when I saw the video, I mean, you know, at first, um you know, it's a whole thing. I hesitate to even say this out loud because this is so out of character for me. God, I would just never say something like this. But it is true. And God damn it, I am fucking obligated to tell you people the truth. But, okay, so this is just true. This is really what happened. I was on the phone with my wife, and she goes, hold on, I got a call coming on the other line. She was in the car, I was at home. And I'm never like this. I'm so not this person. I just got this feeling that she was getting terrible news on that phone, on the other end of the phone call. Like, I just got like a womanly premonition that something bad was happening. And I was shaken by it. And then, so I'm sitting there waiting on hold, getting a little nervous. And then she comes back on the other line. And I go, hey, who was that? And it was like nothing. She was like, what? Home Depot called me about like something. Like, it was nothing. And then I was like, oh, that was stupid. And so anyway, we got off the phone. And she calls me right back. And she goes, why is everyone saying pray for Charlie Kirk? And I go, what? And I open my Twitter, and the first thing my algorithm showed me was Candace Owens saying, stop everything you're doing right now and pray for Charlie Kirk. And then I saw that he had gotten shot. Then I saw the like zoomed out video of all of it. And then I at some point saw, you know, the video where they had zoomed in and you could just see the blood gushing out of his neck. And man, I mean, that's just like, ooh, the zoomed in one is the one that just like really, really affected me. And then, I don't know, between that and then having seen this poor girl get stabbed to death on the subway the day before, added in with 2+ years of all the videos of Gaza, like, I don't know. I think I got a little fried from just seeing soul-crushing awful things. I gotta cleanse a little bit and try to not watch some of that stuff for a little while, because it is not good for your soul. And at a certain point, I think I'm pretty good at dealing with it in general, but yeah. So anyway, you know, it's you know, it's just terrible, man. It's just terrible on a human level, and I think a lot of people are feeling that, especially because Charlie was, you know, a phenomenon. He was a guy who's, you know, like 12 years younger than me, and was like can have millions and millions of followers, and really made like such an impact on the culture. And obviously, you know, he's just touched a lot of people. A lot of people really loved him, and it's horrible to see something like that happen. Just, you know, so I mean, I guess that's the primary thought that I have, is just the personal of it, and how terrible it is. It's a weird feeling, you know, like to have just, you know, just, I don't know, was just hanging out with him pretty recently, and it's you know, death has this you know, it's like this weird thing where it's very hard. It's hard to like grapple with the permanence of death. I think that, you know, like it's hard for us to grapple with the concept that someone's here and then they're just gone, and so it ends up feeling like kind of surreal. Like, and you're like, wait a minute, that can't be right. Anyway, but it is real, and you know, I guess anyway, that those are kind of my feelings, what I'm going through. But there's no question. I mean, this is a massive event culturally, and you know what this means. Like what comes out of this is, you know, I believe something that's not predetermined. You know, it's kind of all of us getting to choose in some way. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit, but you know, there's something weird, like Donald Trump, obviously, he got shot last year. But there's something, I guess there's two factors that really make it a lot different. You know, the obvious one. But in addition to the obvious one, you know, there also is, there is just something a little bit different when it's a presidential candidate or a former president running to be president once again. Like, I'm not saying it's okay to assassinate presidents, but like there is something where like that is in the realm of possibilities of like already in your pre-imagined universe. Like, the presidents get assassinated sometimes. Now, okay, we haven't lived through a president getting assassinated, but like we know it's happened in the past, and of course around the world political leaders have been assassinated. Like, that is a thing that happens. you kind of, but just like, it just happening to a guy. And of course, Charlie Kirk's like an influential guy, but still, he's not the elected president or something like that. And particularly with what he does, is different. And then, of course, like the obvious one is that when that bullet goes off and it nicks your ear, it still kind of feels like a video game. But man, when that thing nicks your jugular, it feels like real fucking life, real quick. And you're like you kind of realize the gravity of it. But there is, like, I guess you just can't get away from, like, the symbol of the whole thing, right? Like on its very face, here's Charlie Kirk is doing this, like, he's doing what he always does. I assume, I haven't seen video from the thing, but he's doing the, like, change my mind, or I guess that was Steven Crowder's thing, but essentially the same thing, right? I will sit here, and at this institution of higher learning, we will have an exchange of ideas and achieve the truth through debate. And if you disagree with me, you come up here and challenge me, and then I'll respond to you. And it's like this exercise in free speech, and then getting sniped out like that. Like, what a just powerful and, like, profoundly disturbing little, like, snapshot of where you're at as a society. And, it's pretty black and goddamn white. To see some of the people who are, like, equivocating between the thing, it's like, no, that's pretty damn black and white, actually. Actually, the person who's going, let's have a battle of ideas, and I will answer all challenging questions, is the good guy, and the person who murders the husband and father in cold blood for the crime of discussing ideas is the bad piece of shit who needs to be fucking taken care of. And, like, God damn it, if you don't have that level of moral clarity, then what the hell else are we ever talking about? So there's that. And, it's kind of it's amazing. It's like the most simple of tests. Like, the most basic, simple of tests, like, it's like if you were with somebody and you were considering, settling down and starting a family, you might, you're like, I think we're gonna get married and we're gonna have some kids. And then, like, the test was, I don't know, like, do we both agree that we should not violently abuse our kids? You'd be like, this is like the most basic test. Like you cannot even entertain any more about this conversation unless we're both on the same page about this very simple aspect. And it's like, when something like this happens, the test is really simple. Like, is your reaction just like, oh my God, this is horrible, and we can't have this in our society? Or do you have anything at all else to say? Anything. And I don't care. That includes just going like, now, while I don't agree with Charlie Kirk on his issues, like, I don't care. There should be no qualifier. No qualifier whatsoever. Goddamn psychotic barbarians. Like, who the fuck thinks this is okay? And then to get into like, well, he wasn't for gun control, well, he wasn't for this. It's like, okay, we're not having a political conversation right now. We're having a spiritual conversation, and you're possessed by the devil. You are evil. This is not a political debate anymore. Anyway, I'm not on this podcast, and perhaps, almost certainly down the road, we'll start talking about theories about what the hell could have happened here. There's just way too little information right now, and there's way more information that's gonna come out one way or the other. And I'm just like, what the hell's the point in trying to put the pieces together right now? Obviously we know what we know, and we don't know a whole lot of other stuff. I will get into this in a way, because essentially just what I want to just talk about today is just like, well, what I just said, like, kind of just give you my thoughts, which are just really like that. This was really that this is just gutting, and that I give my deepest condolences to his family, of course. But then I just talk about the moment that this is, and then kind of just say like, look, there are some groups of people who are reacting in these ways, and here's how I feel about all of that. But it's not for me to give like my theory of what happened. I mean, what really do we know at this point? And the FBI just said there's a person on their wanted list. There's been reports that there was like some types of trans ideology stuff left on the weapon. The feds did recover what they believe is the murder weapon. But aside from that, we basically know that he was sniped. The guy was able to escape. Oh, I mean, that's it, basically, at this point. There's really just not that much. We will get more information as this develops. But so I would say that, okay, well, here, maybe I'll just do this first, okay? So, being in the position I'm in right now, this very weird position where, like, I knew the guy who this just happened to. There's all types of people speculating over what's going on. I mean, half my Twitter feed seems to think that it's because of me. It's because not that it's my fault, but that it's because he platformed me at his last event and defended them, and that's why Israel took them out or something like that. But not really on board with that theory. Doesn't seem to be very likely to me. But I'll say this. When you see that video of Charlie, and you see how real this shit gets, the thing that we should come together on, and the thing that we do still have somewhat of a choice in here, is that, like, we do not want to go down this path. This is a very, very dark path. And there's a real danger of escalation after this shit here, man. You can't just do this and think that, like, the other side is incapable of responding in kind, and like this is a really dangerous path. But like, I would just say, like, as to the extent that I have any influence,
I'm doing admin for my business. I'm trying to get invoices sent, and I have to like add people, into my like thing. I have to add the client, and then I have to like get their information all punched in, and then I have to get the invoices made, like the template made, so that I can then easily just click duke every time moving forward. So I'm having to like create for the full invoice. Pain in the butt.
I understand. Like, I'll try my best to make this clear. But like, I get the temptation. I saw people like sharing the Breitbart video, that badass video where he's like, war, the music kicks in and stuff, and it's like, all right, I get the temptation, but like, let's think about that, because I don't think that's the message that we want to send out to people right now. Like, obviously, we want justice for whoever did this. We want to figure out what the hell happened here. We want all the answers, but like, nothing's gonna bring Charlie Kirk back or fix, his destroyed family right now. So like, that's not actually the route that you want to go. And I remember, and I kind of feel this way. I'm not saying I feel the exact same way in these situations. I'm saying I feel right now like there's this, there's a temptation to sink into, what I believe really is kind of like a dark force. I remember literally the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life by far was my son. Some of you know who are listening to this, who's doing great. He's doing great right now. But my son had a congenital heart defect, and he had to have open heart surgery when he was 3 days old. And it's just an enormously difficult situation. One that I would not wish on my worst enemy, and I mean that. I've never met anybody who I would wish that on. It's I don't know. There's people out there who have lost kids, man, and I've never lost a kid. I can't imagine what that's like. But I do know what it's like to mentally prepare yourself for the possibility of that. And it is horrible, dude. Like, oh my God, it's just like, you can't even describe the feeling. Like, it feels like
damn it.
Burning garbage was like the smell of that was a feeling. It's like just like this intense, like horrible feeling. And so I remember, so like there was this period where like we found out when my wife was pregnant that he had this heart condition and that we were going to need this surgery and what the risks were and where all of this. It was like this extended period of time. You know, it was months and months and months of preparing for this and then going through it and then nursing him back to health. It's like this whole long thing. And like I remember when I was in it, I remember feeling like this temptation to fall into like destructive feelings, and the feeling very clearly was like feeling sorry for yourself, like it's like just being mad at the world, like how unfair this is, being furious at God, being like what like how there's just like. And it's not like when I say that it's like tempting to, it's so tempting, like a freaking, like a cartoon where the pie smoke like starts,
Come on,
gets in the dog's nose and carries him over. Like it's the most tempting feeling ever. It's like a drug that you're addicted to. Like you
oh my God, you got him!
Like,
oh my God, you got him!
rewarding in a weird way. It makes you feel better.
Don't let him go, you dumb bitch!
You're like, fuck you, God, and fuck you, world, and how can you do this to me?
Oh, is he dead?
So unfair. Like I have to suffer through this, like that. This very human temptation to like want to feel bad.
Remember how I told you she caught?
First off, when you got a real
Money, he's dead, baby.
Like,
he's dead.
Anything wrong and needs to go through this whole thing and start the life. And
sorry, buddy.
it's just first, it's really, really easy to fall into that. You feel really, really bad, and it really, really is unfair.
Good girl, you got him. I know. I'm sorry.
It's easy as like if you.
How about I give you some treats instead?
For 5 nights in a row, you got absolutely no sleep, and then you laid down on the most comfortable bed ever.
Finally, that damn thing is out of my house.
How easy it is to fuck. But then, like,
okay,
on some other level, you just also know
Mike.
that is the devil. Like that. It is like I'm not saying literally, like maybe just a metaphor, but kind of literally also. That this is like a dark force that is a trap. Like nothing good comes from that. That like you fall into that, and great. Now what? I'm fucking in a mountain of self-pity and feeling bad for myself. And how the fuck does that help my wife, who's still got to go through this whole thing? How does that help my 2.5-year-old daughter I had at the time, who still needs her mom and dad? Like that doesn't help anyone if I do that. But if I fight that, and I just stay awake, even though I'm exhausted and in the most comfortable bed ever, but I stay awake and I just go, instead of me feeling bad for myself, I go, this is going to be fine, and I take on the burden of other people. I'm like, maybe that could be positive. Maybe something better could come of that. And, in this case, like, I'm grateful to God every day, but in this case, it did work out and everything was okay. Anyway, I say all of that to just say that I think there's a similar type of thing when something like this happens. There's like this temptation to get angry, and man, is it fucking easy to get angry. Is it easy to get angry? I mean, you look at like, all you got to do, because like, anyway, just like to complete the thought here is like from the beginning to now, it's like, I'm saying like, you did know Charlie Kirk too. To many of you guys who loved him, like that is somebody who you loved and who you knew and who you just watched like publicly executed in cold blood when he never did anything, like with being guilty of no crime. And then like you see a video of like some left-winger celebrating it, as I'm sure so many of you have seen. And it is so easy to like fall into that darkness, man. And I understand why some people do, because it's so easy to. It's so easy to go like, they kill someone you loved, and then they're sitting there celebrating it. Like, what, motherfucker? I mean, what's the right response to that? And it's very easy when you start going down that path to start coming up with what you think the right response to that is. But again, it's just like with the other stuff, but there's nothing but destruction behind that path. No matter how tempting it may be, or no matter how good it might feel, we all know on some level that then the darkness wins. Nothing good can come from that. And I mean, not that any of them are fucking ever listening to me, but if
like if I had a message to like those, you know, like the left wingers on TikTok or whatever, who are like celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, I guess my message would be like twofold. So like number one, the first thing I would say to all those people is that, you know, a bunch of these, because people have been posting them, and you know, I understand where they are, but I also would like kind of caution people with big audiences for posting that shit. Like, you're working up anger, and that really may not be the best thing. I don't think that's what Charlie would have wanted either, by the way. He was real against all that shit. He always wanted like things to calm down and not escalate to like violence. But anyway, the theme for all these videos that I've seen so far, you know, more or less, like very loosely speaking, the theme is either like, you know, a bunch of left-wingers reacting to Charlie Kirk, and they're either saying like, you know, I'm not sad, or I'm quite happy. You know, like that's basically what they're saying. I'm not sad that Charlie Kirk died, or I'm quite happy that Charlie Kirk died, and then, you know, in some other, in their own, you know, unique way. But like, if the message is like, you guys, you left-wingers, the left-wingers who are crazy enough to jump on TikTok and make a video about how you're not sad or you're happy, my response would just be like, that's not true. You know, you none of you are happy. You're all incredibly sad. You're all incredibly sad. Those are your real feelings. You are not a happy person. You're actually an incredibly sad person. In fact, you're fucking so goddamn sad and fucked up that you can't even exist in this world with your emotions. You got to be fucking medicated to even get day to day through your miserable life. So like, you know, obviously you're a genuinely, you know, just disgusting, horrible person if you make a video like that celebrating things. But just, I guess, my, you know, I'm trying not to fall into that kind of anger myself. So the, you know, on both counts, you are sad and you're not happy. Then there's the left. Then there's like the liberals in the media, who, wow, it is really, I mean, it is just unbelievable that, because, you know, now I'm not talking lefties anymore. I'm talking, you know, liberals, neoliberals, you know, in the corporate media. And it's like they are, it's unbelievable. It's some type of, like, whatever their cultist religion is, of like neoliberal, woke, corporate progressivism. It's like they're incapable of passing the test that I laid out before. Like, they cannot just go, this was horrible. What a senseless act of violence, you know? They can't do that. They have to every time go, the provocative Charlie Kirk, who, you know, whatever, had some wild views about all these things and offended the trans community. Like, they have to find a way to try to blame him. And it really is, you know, obviously it's despicable. At the same time, you know, it's just one more piece of evidence of why those...
I will upload before and afters right away to your text messages.
Completely lost all of them. You can't even bring yourself to not attempt to politicize like a horrible death of a husband and father. Like, okay, that's why the whole thing is flipped, and I don't ever want to hear anything about how you judge all. We judge all of you and morally condemn you to hell. So, like, fuck off. And this is why you're not, you know. I should go back. That's my message basically to the corporate media. I should go back. There was one more message I had for the lefties who are making the TikTok videos. And I understand they're like, look, these are all like, you know, they're all low IQ, mentally unstable, fucking, you know, disgusting people. But I would just say the message to these, it's like, you know, you sit there, first of all, I guess to all of them, to the corporate media and to the lefties, all of them. First of all, you fucking dolts who don't know anything about anything and have never read a book about anything and don't fucking pay attention to any of the goddamn trends. And I mean this about the people on TV too. Like, they don't fucking know shit. None of them. It's shocking, dude. I'm a goddamn dummy comedian, and I fucking run circles around the fucking professional people on news because I've read books about stuff. That's my big secret weapon, by the way. That's how I'm able to fuck all these guys up. I've read a couple books about things, and I know what I'm talking about, and fucking none of them have, so it gives me a huge advantage. But to all of you goddamn retards, Charlie Kirk was the moderate. He was the fucking reasonable guy in the room, you dummy. He wasn't a far-right activist. Are you kidding me? You have any idea what's out there? You think that was like the radical position? Charlie Kirk was the most moderate human being. He was a plumb line Republican. A plumb line Republican, as everybody who knows anything about anything knows, is 1 centimeter to the right of a plumb line Democrat. He was right just in the middle. He supported Israel like the Democrats and Republicans do. He was more, you know, like a little bit more on the side of restrictive
It says that the first
policy.
one is
You know,
free.
that
What are
was
you
his
doing?
Big radical policy was he was with 80% of the American people on immigration. It's not, so you sit there and what do you think? You think this is a victory? Like for you? You think, oh, you took out a, let me think this through here with all of my wisdom. I want to win a culture war. So what I did was I violently murdered
You literally
the
say
most
here that the first one is
high-profile
free.
moderate voice on the other side. Hey, geniuses, you know, summon all your wisdom together and tell me, do you think that is likely to calm things down? Or might that lead to more radicalization? And what the fuck, these dumbass fucking lefties celebrating, like, what exactly are you trying to start here, you fucking pussies? Like, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, go live your fucking weird lives and with your fucking pink hair and your 70 genders or whatever, but don't sit here and pretend you're ready for a fucking fight. Like, what are you doing? Do you know, it's like such a weird dynamic they have here, right? Where, like, broadly speaking in the country, there's like this culture war, right? And like the left-wingers are almost always the ones who are out on the streets. You know, they're the ones protesting. I mean, yeah, you could point to January 6th, but it's like the one exception. It's the exception that proves the rule. But who is out in, you know, the Ferguson, Missouri, you know, protests and riots, or the Trayvon Martin protests and riots, or the George Floyd protests and riots, or there's the Pussy March, or there's the Immigration March, or there's the campus activism over the last, 15 years. It's like the leftists take to the street. They're the first ones to go, we're going to go out here and do a thing. It's much harder to get the right-wingers out on the streets because they have families and jobs and church to go to. But the right wing is so
Please
much
go
tougher.
away.
So much tougher.
Always right here on my arm
Down
that
to
they
a
fucking...
fight. The fight is right-wingers mowing down gender studies majors. Like, what are we fucking talking about here? You ever see one of those videos where, like, Antifa would actually get into a fight? And then you'd realize that, like, it's actually really funny. I mean, like, it was kind of jarring and a little bit, but, like, there'd be all these videos where there'd be, like, you know, the black bloc guys, like 7 kids in hoodies. With,
I've never
like, one's
ordered
got a
one
pipe
before,
and,
so
they
why
got
do you
the
keep
masks
saying...
on, so you're almost like, oh, these are, like, kind of tough-looking guys. And then one of them swings,
all...
like, the girliest swing of a pipe and completely misses.
I don't understand.
And then a man punches him in the face, and you hear the guy go, hey! And you're like, oh, you're not tough. You're just, like, role-playing as to, like, what do you guys think? But you're trying to provoke this other side who will annihilate you? And there are real-deal militias in this country. There are real-deal gun enthusiasts in this country. You do not want to pop shit off with them. Of course, we also have a giant police force and a giant military, which we all know is made up of left-wingers, right? It's all made up of trans activists in those organizations. Like, what are you guys thinking now? Everybody needs to calm down. Everybody needs to chill out. You know, like, hopefully this, like, horrible moment can be something that, like, pulls people back a little bit, you know, like, you know, just like you go like, wow, this is fucking horrible. We don't want to go down this path. Like, let's move to something better, man. This is like, it's fundamentally, again, like I said, you have a guy like doing free speech stuff for free speech reasons in the free speech locations who gets shot, assassinated for doing that, for the crime of doing that. This isn't just like, you know, there's something really profound here. This is, I hate using terms like this. I'm not a collectivist, I'm an individualist, but like, this is like national soul type shit. Like you're telling me that like the foundational principle of the nation is free speech. He's exercising free speech and gets murdered for it. You know, maybe that could be a moment like where everybody goes, whoa, hold on, no, that's not who we are. I mean, we get to determine who we are. It's like, let's decide that it's not that. And that if there is to be even like the kind of just retribution, let that be like, okay, let's find out who's responsible for this. Let's make sure that person is held accountable. If there's a conspiracy or something like that, let's get to the bottom of it. But let's not, you know, give in to the evil spirits, man. Like, I'm not even saying you shouldn't hate those people. I'm not saying you shouldn't hate anyone in the corporate media or the leftists making those videos. That's not my message. I'm saying like it's probably appropriate to hate them. I'm just like really pleading with you to not fall into like an all-consuming hatred. Like to not fall into like that dark force that in some way I think we all know is kind of always there with us.
I just ordered one of those like mag stripes or whatever. You know what's crazy, Gio, is so many more people immediately thought the same thing that I thought. And 2 days before he was shot, someone in his circle said, another person in their circle mentioned if Charlie changed his stance on Israel, they would kill him. And that was the day before, maybe 2 days before he was shot. Here, I have actually the thing. I'm on YouTube. I can show it.
One more thing that I just, because I...
Damn it, it's too big. It says, not to name names, not going to name names or anything, but someone close to Charlie Kirk told me that if he turns against Israel, they will kill him. Or they will kill him if he ever turns against Israel.
You know, I've said nice things about Ian in the past. I know he's said nice things about me. But I see him out there and like, and I've seen a bunch of other people doing this, but it's just like... Alright,
so I just ordered one of those mag stripes for very cheap. It was only fucking $5. It was supposed to be free, but it was only $5 to get the thing that plugs right into my phone so I can take that to work with me so I don't have to take cash. And I don't have to worry about invoicing people like on the floor or like later.
That Israel was involved with this at all. And I mean, man, if you want to be disturbed, like go look through the replies to that. It is unbelievable how.
Oh wait, I don't have to hide from YouTube.
Like, what evidence do we have? By the way, the answer is none. We have absolutely no evidence. There's absolutely no reason to even suspect that is the case, let alone to determine that it's a fact. And all the things people are posing, it's just like, guys, Jesus Christ, man, I'm sorry. I just don't go for sloppy, kooky theories. Like, if you got some evidence, bring it to me, and I'll be the first one to look into it. But then people going like, he was waking up to Israel. Like, dude, he said release the Epstein files. And he once on an interview said, like, you know, the pro-Israel people are getting a little too crazy when they're accusing even me of being anti-Israel. But that's about it. And like, you know, to his credit, he defended, like, having me at the thing.
I was just going to say, he had you on TPUSA. That was the biggest thing for me.
You've just got no real theory here, and it just makes no sense at all. Like, they telling me the government of Israel took out their #1 guy who still had influence amongst young people. I don't know. Because behind the scenes, he was starting to come around. To me at all, and I don't think it's like, I don't know. I think honestly, in a way, I think a lot of those guys might have fallen into their own dark force where they're just so wrapped up in blaming Israel and blame for everything that you try to start to see it, or you kind of desire that conclusion before you've even reached it. But I think like anyone, like, let's just fucking breathe on this for a little bit. Let's get I say all the time, I'm not against a conspiracy theory. I love a good conspiracy theory. Lots of them are true. But like,
you gotta like have a case to make. You gotta have evidence, a coherent narrative, a through line, different, you know, things that back up your assertions. It can't just be this like
Open
you know,
email
I
settings.
don't know. We'll just say that. We'll say it was them. Who cares? Like, I hate that shit. You know, I should say, I'll probably
Internet
wrap
accounts.
up here in a sec, because I think I pretty much said what I wanted to. I will say, you know, one of the things that's, one of the reasons, say, well, you don't want to fall into those dark forces that I was talking about, like why you don't want to
Fall into this like all-encompassing hate, or rage, or whatever, despair, any of like the bad things that you don't want to fall into, is because it becomes
blinding, you know? It's the same thing I'm saying almost there. Like, you could really, really hate the government of Israel. Like, you could even hate Israel. You could even hate Jewish people or whatever.
And like, if you still are concerned with getting things right, getting to the truth of things, then you don't want to fall into the thing where you're always immediately blaming them first, because like obviously there are other factors in the world too. There are other forces, you know. And if you're falling into that, right, you could see where the problem is that you're missing what really happened. You're going with the conclusion you want, and so you're not seeing the truth. And that's kind of the problem with all these things. It's the problem with like all-encompassing hatred too, because it's real easy to like fall into like, oh my God, you look at some of these left-wingers on TikTok celebrating Charlie Kirk died. Fucking war. I'm angry. I'm this. But then you kind of miss the fact that, like, hey, look at all these other guys who are actually saying the right thing. And I saw there was this one video that had, you know, I must have lost it in the timeline, but it was like a left-wing looking type person who was on a TikTok video that was going super viral, had like millions and millions of views on it, and they were going like, yo, what's wrong with all you guys? Like, a human being just got killed. He's got a family. Like, I don't know. You disagree with his ideas? Like, he was there to debate the ideas. What's wrong? There were a ton of people agreeing with him too. So like, you know, they just like keep that in mind too. There's also the beauty in the world, and there's also people kind of doing the right things, and you know, you don't want to miss that, because that's kind of, you know, that's the hope, or that's what makes life worth living. That's the thing that is like gives us possibilities of a better outcome. And I will say that there are, you know, if I'm giving shit to people who kind of didn't pass that test, and I say like my basic test is just like, and I think this is not that unreasonable. I think it's like it's a pretty low bar to be able to get over. And I think the test is just that, like, when something like this happens, you're appropriately horrified. You just go, that is awful. This is inexcusable. I feel horrible for the family and all that. You don't start, like, hate-mongering and getting everybody worked up and furious about the other side. It's a thing that people do online. It's great for fucking clicks, and it's great for, you know what I mean? Like, and it feels good in a way too. I'm sure a lot of people genuinely believe it. It's easy to genuinely believe it in a moment like this. But like, you don't do that. You don't start jumping to wild theories and stating them as if they're fact, when you know you can't even build a coherent theory, let alone know this for a fact. You don't start doing that. And you don't start, like, you know, equivocating about who was really wrong or who wasn't. It's like, just like, it's the most basic of tests. And I do have to say, man, that, you know, I was really pleasantly, I wouldn't say surprised, but I was very happy to see that, like, Nick Fuentes really passed that test with flying colors. I just saw on Twitter that he you know, he just basically said the exact right thing, and then he canceled his show last night and was like, I'm just not going to do that in light of these events. And I don't know, I just thought, like, it's weird. Of course, in this world we live in, it's like Nick Fuentes is the one in this moment who, like, actually has the appropriate kind of adult reaction. That's where we're at in the. I don't mean that as a shot at Nick. This is purely a compliment to him. I'm just kind of making fun of the way he's caricatured versus the reality of it. But
you know, and I'm just particularly giving him credit just because, you know, again, like the way he's caricatured versus like how actually so many of these supposed grown-ups in the room are acting. But there were a lot of people who I thought really did that, and I do really appreciate that. I think like in these moments, like for whatever the fuck we're doing, living in this world with people who follow us on, watch our shows and follow our social media accounts, for the people who have like somewhat of a following, you know, it's just like, if we're not doing anything else, it's like it's a kind of like easy line for me to see like who are the good guys and the bad guys, kind of based on how they handle things like this. All right, I'm gonna wrap up there. I mean, I don't know, you know, what else to say. It's clearly just like, you know, a truly horrifying event that I really can't think of parallel to this in my life. Like, you know, and there were things where like congresswomen were shot at or got shot. Still just like not quite the same as someone being cold-blooded executed this way, and you know, obviously all the other personal stuff. So you know, I'm going to continue, as I'm sure a lot of people are, to continue kind of processing this, and you know, and I'm sure I'll have more to say about it to you guys. Anyway, I'll always kind of tell you guys, you know, give you my honest opinions and try to tell you the truth as I see it. That's, you know, I'm being completely honest today. I did not feel like doing this. I did not want to have this episode. I just knew, I'm very upset about it. I knew there was a good chance I might get emotional during it. I did. Hold it together a little bit, but I did. But I just didn't feel like doing this. I'm the kind of guy in this situation, I actually don't like to talk about it. Despite how much I like to talk in general in life. Subjects like this, I don't. But I just kind of had this feeling, like, I don't know, I have to. That's my obligation to you. I got to come here and tell you how I feel. This is the deal. And I don't know. I kind of feel, you know, like this was somewhat helpful for me to just kind of get some of this off my chest to you. So thanks for listening, and talk again soon. Peace.
Hello. I'll be right back. Whoa, what is that? Okay, so now my email accounts are all here. Maybe. My YouTube just closed out on me randomly. Cool beans.
Charlie Kirk's death is a dark moment for America, for President Trump. It's also a turning point for you and me, a call to action and a time for choosing. First, let me tell you about my relationship with Charlie. Charlie was the greatest man I've ever personally known. He was a moral, kind, generous, and irreplaceable man. Charlie was Turning Point USA, the organization he founded. We are sad today because he represented the best of America and what we as men aspired to be. What set him apart was that he was the least hypocritical man I've ever known. He practiced what he preached in his professional and personal life like no other. Now, as for what he built, I would often watch him work and utter to myself, it's a force of nature. He was a modern-day William F. Buckley Jr. meets Rush Limbaugh meets community organizer. And it hurts to see him gone from this earth after all that was seemingly planned for him. Many of us know he would have one day been president. As Kierkegaard once said, the most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one that you'll never have. For those of you who have never met Charlie Kirk, this feels like a death in the family. But for those of us who did know him, and thousands of us were his friends, that says a lot about his character, by the way. We're heartbroken and grieving with a depth we've never before experienced in our lives. Let me tell you about my relationship with Charlie. I first met him in a Chicago diner in 2012 when he was 18 and then I was 27. He was persistent in reaching out to me, looking to obtain a meeting to receive guidance and advice on what he set out to build. He spoke confidently at this diner about his plans to build a mass movement of young people. I remember thinking at the time just how ambitious, grandiose, and seemingly improbable all these plans seemed, even for this precocious kid. But it was a world-changing idea. But there was also thousands of DMs of people sending these things to me with ideas about how they wanted to change the political landscape on a massive scale. Yet, few people actually had the X factor that Charlie Kirk had. That was actually something that one of my previous board members, Jim Young, said. Many people recognized that in him. And sitting across from me was this teenager with a half-eaten sandwich, speaking with the quiet conviction of
What?
Martin Luther. Here I stand, I can do no other. I saw him shortly thereafter living on a couch at Lee Hanley's house on Palm Beach Island.
Wait, what?
Lee was a donor I was soliciting for money on that day. Charlie was running around.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. I got all that fucking propane. Bummer, dude. When did I ever make this?
some more updates that have happened today since I got off my last live stream that I did earlier today. Let me share the window.
Guys, I'm so proud of myself. I got all of my administration stuff done.
Okay,
I'm such
so
a grown up.
first things first, the Utah Public Safety the Utah Public Safety Department or whatever posted some more pictures of the suspected person. Now I do have up this is the live feed of the the Utah Department of Public Safety. This is on their Instagram. I also do have another
YouTube.
different live feed
I'm making
of this
that my dream
on,
skirt.
like
Well,
regular YouTube.
it's my dream pattern.
Oh, no, go
I don't know about the colors yet, but we'll see.
Anyway, okay, so they're getting set up for the press conference right now. Here is one angle, and then this is like the official Instagram account. Okay, so here's the new photos of the person of interest. They're not calling him a suspect. Much clearer picture of the logo or the label on the shirt. We do get a glimpse of a backpack. Now they're not calling this a suspect, they're calling this a person of interest. So they don't even so far as suspect this person. Now I predict that we are going to find out that, I predict we're going to find out some more solid answers. I feel like that's why Kash Patel's coming down and why he came down. Because I feel like he is tired of these people speaking for him, because he was going on his Twitter. This is the girl, she's been working, girl. He's been going on his Twitter saying stuff, and then they basically just undermine him as soon as they get on these press conferences. So this press conference was supposed to happen earlier today. It was supposed to happen at 12:45 Eastern time. No, 2:45, excuse me. 2:45 Eastern. So like local time over there was supposed to be like 12:45, but now it's like almost 7:30 their time. So it was supposed to happen, Eastern time for Eastern time, just to put it in perspective, it was supposed to happen 2:30 Eastern time here. It's almost it's going to be happening at 9:30. So I think this was to give Kash Patel time, the director of the FBI, to get his behind on a plane and come over here. We were told as the public, the reason that the press conference was postponed was because it was a rapidly developing story, and we do have some updates as well. In addition to these new pictures, here's another new picture alleged. New to us. And then he's got a phone in his pocket. I'm telling y'all, check the group chats. Check the group chats. So there are some updates I wanted to tell y'all about as well. The FBI director who traveled to Utah today will hold a news conference at 7:30 Mountain Time with Utah's governor and a few other law enforcement officials. I think they're getting ready to announce some new findings. I really do. Okay. We have some updates here as well. Authorities release new photos. Okay, we got that. Okay, where are we on? We're on CNN. FBI Director Kash Patel has arrived in Utah 52 minutes ago. FBI Director Kash Patel has arrived in Orem, Utah to assist with the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination. 36 minutes ago, the FBI Director and Utah Governor are set to hold a news conference tonight with other officials. Authorities are expected to hold the press conference tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, which is 7:30 local time, according to the Utah Department of Public Safety. And here is who is expected to speak. Kash Patel, Director of the FBI. Robert Bowles, FBI
They'll catch
Special
somebody.
Agent in charge, and we have heard from him already.
Sure they
Utah
will.
Governor Spencer Cox, we have heard from him
But
already.
it's going to be a patsy.
And last but not least, of course, the person I think we've heard maybe the most from, Bo Mason, the Commissioner of the Utah Department of Public Safety. Authorities are still searching for the man who unalived Charlie Kirk. Here's what we've learned. It's been over a day since the political activist Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at Utah Valley University, and investigators are still searching for the person who fired the single deadly bullet. According to President Donald Trump, officials are making big progress on tracking the shooter down. Here's what we've learned since the incident. New photos. The Utah Department of Public Safety has released new photos. We saw those. Rifle was recovered. Officials headed to Utah, and latest comments from Trump. Now, I also did see, where was it on, that they had closed down a street. Girl, we got a new video. Oh, I didn't even see this. 24 minutes ago, Fox News. This is from TMZ. Surveillance video shows person of interest limping away after Charlie Kirk incident. So let's see. Oh no. I was gonna make me watch an ad. Okay, that's fine. We gotta watch an ad first. Come on. Okay, here we go. Here's the video from the Ring doorbell camera. Or whatever. I shouldn't say Ring doorbell camera because it's just a Right. Oh shoot, sorry. I'm trying to turn this stuff down. Okay, here we go. And then this is turned all the way up as it can be. So there you go. He's limping. It's probably because he jumped off a building. Okay, so I also saw some other news though, y'all. It was like they have this whole street closed down right nearby where it happened, and they said the street that they have closed down is actually like most of the houses down there are owned by one single family. So it's like, are they trying to smoke him out of one of them houses? Do they think that they have several videos even of him hiding behind like people are just walking, they don't even know. Anything else happen here? Still playing. I don't know if anything more happens or what. Okay, well that's unsettling. I hadn't seen that before. Newly released video of a person of interest shows Newly released video shows a person of interest being sought by law enforcement officials in the assassination of Charlie Kirk limping down the road in a residential neighborhood in Utah. Is it because he jumped off a building? The video, which was obtained by TMZ, was captured on home surveillance system shortly after Kirk was shot and killed in the Utah Valley University. It shows the person of interest wearing a black long-sleeve shirt with black hat, sunglasses, and backpack. The person of interest also resembles the person in images released by law enforcement of someone wanted for questioning walking down the steps. In another clip, the person of interest is seen walking behind a building as two people pass by. Once the two people pass, the person is seen running from behind the building toward the street. 48 minutes ago, this is what I was trying to tell y'all about. Police zero in on street near UVU campus. This is within the past hour. So this is, I think, this breaking. A person of interest in the assassination of Charlie Kirk is suspected of fleeing down the street in the immediate aftermath of the killing. A police officer on scene told Fox News Digital that authorities are conducting, quote, forensic scanning of the tight-knit neighborhood where one family owns most of the properties. Earlier in the day, Fox News Digital watched as federal agents and state police gathered surveillance footage from a home on the street. At the time, a family member of that homeowner, Erwin Steele, said footage from the camera showed the person of interest fleeing through the backyards. And I guess we ended up, seeing at least one of those here. So they're zeroed in on this one street. Another article that I read said they had blocked it off. Okay, let's see. Oh, yep, they're talking, girl. Let's get it. Oh, he's mic checking.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello.
That's pretty good.
Everybody good?
Let's try this.
Text Adam, don't forget to shoot the rats in the side of my bus, exclamation point.
3, 4, 5.
the other one is better.
6, 7, 8,
The first one's better, right?
11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going.
Versus this one.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Agreed.
10, 11, 12,
Is it too loud? It feels like really loud to me. Should I turn it down? This is like it all the way up.
8, 9, 10. Mic check.
Should I turn it down more or that's good?
This is a mic check. Talk
It sounds loud to me.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. All right. So let's go to TMZ. They got exclusives over there. I don't want to turn it down for now because, oh my God. I don't want to be the director of the FBI, girl. That's the loudest as it goes, girl. I can't help you beyond that, Shoshana. Sorry. Let me see. TMZ. Oh, they're running late. 10 to 15 minutes late. Okay, here's the TMZ article. Okay, they said they're running late, so I'm turning that volume off. They on my nerves. Okay, person of interest seen on video heading to campus with possible pew pew. Wow. Okay, this is before the... Shooter had fled. The officials also acknowledged that photos of a weapon and various details about the firearm and ammunition, including inscriptions and symbols, are circulating online, but refused to confirm the authenticity of those photos. Okay, so he did say that there were photos circulating online, but it didn't actually say they are real. Okay, they're not even live anymore over there. Okay, wait, where was I here? The statement did, however, appear to indirectly confirm that the weapon did have inscriptions of some kind, since it added, we are not able to provide further details on the content of those inscriptions. Investigators have collected a footwear impression, a palm print, and
Oh yeah, I see you.
imprints.
Let me
Okay,
catch
so
the
if you're
children
just
on my
joining,
phone.
hello, hi. We are waiting for the press conference to start. They said that they were running 10 to 15 minutes behind schedule. It is now 16 minutes behind schedule. We do have a guy here with an FBI shirt on. It appears as though they are loading a some type of presentation. Are they talking? Okay, so they're still... It looks like they're still having technical difficulties over there. I'm just going to get off of Instagram since they don't appear to be live. Okay, finally, an update. This is New York Times 1 hour ago. Oh, they just updated it by putting a picture. Okay, interesting. So here they are. Here comes the brigade. This guy looks like freaking SEAL Team 7 right here. Don't mess with him. Here's Cash putting...
I saw a guy who noticed that the guy who was behind Trump when he had his assassination attempt coincidentally looked exactly like the same guy that was standing next to Charlie Kirk doing weird hand signals pointing at his neck and stuff right at the moment when Charlie Kirk got shot. It's like the same guy. Yeah, really. I think it's in my TikTok favorites or in my reposts if you want to go find it. He's singing a song. He made up a song about it. The first thing Adam said when he came home last night or this morning or whenever, the first thing he said to me when I got home from work, or I was leaving for work, he's like, did you see this fence? I was like, of course I saw the fence. It's right next to my house. I told him, I was like, the minute I saw it, I knew you were going to start threatening to take it down and call the county on her. He's been itching to call the county on her because that place that they built next door, that whole cabin is a danger. The rumor is that she paid off the inspector. And because she paid off the inspector, the county doesn't really know how badly and how sketchy that place really is. But it's gonna, Adam is really worried. He's like, I don't want to live next door to that because when it fucking falls down on a nice little family, he's like, I'm gonna have to be the one to pull them out. And I don't want to do it. So, I knew he was gonna be pissed off about it. Even though she actually made it a lot closer to the property line than I think he expected. Because the property line's not correct. Where he has it marked off with like a little piece of string and some T-posts or whatever. So as soon as he saw the fence, that's what he said. That's what he said. He's like, I'm gonna call the county and see. I'm gonna have to look at the map and see exactly where the property line is. And I was just laughing because I knew. As soon as I saw that they put up that fence, I was like, man, Adam's gonna fucking have a lot to say about it. Nobody's doing anything except for me. She's not eating no food. She ain't getting nothing.
On his outfit.
Willie's over there begging.
Here's one of the handlers. I mean, I don't know who this is. Yeah, so here they come, rolling in. Dan Brigario or whatever is in here somewhere. Yeah, okay. So, do we have anything new here? No. Do we have anything new on CBS?
Go lay down, Orly.
No.
He was over there chewing on my
Fox
socks.
News.
No.
Oh, girl, I am tired. Oh, Lord. Come on. So when they updated it 3 minutes ago, what they actually just updated was just posting a picture. Okay, what's she about to come over here and do a mic check or what?
If you want to go outside, I'll take you outside.
Is
But
this
you
one of those
are
Secret
not.
Service ladies or what? Okay, the FBI guy's now done walked away, so that's an update. If you're just getting here, hi, hello. The press conference was supposed to start at 9:30 Eastern time. It is now 9:40.
Orly, do you need to go
Eastern
potty
time, so
outside?
19 minutes
No.
late. Garden State Accountability says,
Mm-mm.
BJ, what do you think they're going to say in the press
Cat
conference?
food?
I really have no idea.
No.
I do not know.
No cat food.
I do not know what they're going to say.
I can't have food.
All right, she gonna
Do you need to go outside, go potty?
Somebody
You're not
just
gonna get
change
the
her
cat
outfit,
food.
Be somebody different. Who's she? There's just always like people of all jobs.
Oh, don't you worry, I'm
It's like a lot of
coming.
background noise.
Muns, can you move?
I'm trying to hear like the mumblings in the background. I don't hear anything. Okay, let's see. We are due for this thing to start any minute now. I mean, it was supposed to start 20 minutes ago. We're now 20 minutes behind schedule. Now, originally they did say that they were running behind schedule about 10 minutes, maybe up to 15, but now we're on the 20 minute. Okay, here we go. 2 more minutes, 2 minute warning, everybody.
Do you want some more food?
They just came out and gave the 2 minute warning. Everybody in this room is probably so tired. They've been waiting for freaking 10 hours. Hold on, I'm trying to.
Go ahead.
2 minute warning. Okay, we got CNN update finally.
He does not want to go outside.
Second
He
lady holds
100%
hands
wants
with
cat
Kurt's
food.
widow as she and the vice president escort the family and casket from Air Force. Oh, that's sad. Okay. They said maybe they're coming down the hallway. They said, "Oh Lord, this guy, get in your seat." Gen Z does not care at all. 30-second countdown, everybody. He's like, give him more time. It's a long hallway. I love the auto live caption. Okay, go now. And action. I feel like I've been waiting all day for this press conference that I didn't even know. Oh, there's Kash Patel, director of the FBI. Thank you, Blair, for the 99-cent super sticker. Shout out to you. Okay, here we go. It's updated.
Sucking on my titties like you wanted me, calling me.
Oh, here we go.
Got Christy behind the spine all of the time. What else is in the teachers of peaches?
We are going to share a portion of a video and that we have of the suspect, as well as some new stills. Those have already been released, but we want to make sure that they get as much attention as possible so that we can get help from the public in tracking down this evil human being. So we're going to cue up the video right now. Show that. I've asked Commissioner Bo Mason if he would narrate to you what is happening in this video. Thank you, Governor. Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was coned out in the top left corner.
Top left up here.
We'll go ahead and play that video, and I'll narrate as we walk through that.
We're gonna play a video, everybody. This is breaking news. We're playing.
So here you see the suspect right behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, move to this far right corner.
Look at him go.
As he does, he's going to climb off the edge
Look at him. He's gonna
and then
leap.
drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions.
Oh my
There's
God.
some smudges in some
This
places
is
where looking
crazy.
like DNA.
Oh, that's how he hurt his leg.
He hurt that
Where
knee.
we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes.
Chubb.
He will replay that again so you get another view of that.
Replay it.
He totally fell off the building.
Black t-shirt,
What?
his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes.
that
These are
hurt.
all identifiable items that we're looking for.
know how to roll
In the
with.
stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive T-shirt with the
So
American
someone
flag.
made that long range shot, but
There's
doesn't
also
know how to
baseball
land
cap
off of a
with
building.
triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses.
A baseball
All
cap.
distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who is.
He's
has
waving to
those items, who's
somebody.
been seen wearing those items. We're looking for all that information.
He
Then you
looked
see the
like he was
suspect
waving to
dropping off the
somebody.
building. He moved around across this grass area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right.
It looked like he was waving to somebody.
After he crosses the street, this is where he moves
Oh,
over
look at him
into
just go across
the
the
wooded
street.
area. This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence.
Up here on the roof behind us.
Some lightning.
Look at all the evidence.
So here's the still photographs I mentioned. These have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the T-shirt. Like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle
You
and the
better start
sunglasses.
looking
Can
at
you go to
their
the next
TikTok.
picture, please?
Next picture.
The backpack as well. All identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify.
Interesting how he has a similar backpack to the
Next picture.
insurance
Again,
guy
there's a picture of the
pew-pewing.
hat with that triangle logo and again the T-shirt. Blue
Triangle hat
jeans,
logo.
and you get a good look.
Guys, if you have not already, please do not watch the Charlie Kirk
That pushes
video.
out, we'll continue to
Don't
push
do
these
that to
out.
yourself. You
And
know
just
it's
ask
bad.
for the public's
There's no
cooperation.
need to go and
Through
actually
the
watch
public,
it. You know what I mean?
The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and
They don't
enabling
have
It's not good for your mental health
us
to get desensitized to stuff like that.
great cooperation.
That's why I don't look at like the Reddit pages and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Because I don't want to desensitize myself to stuff like that.
Commissioner Mason.
I would rather be
I want to thank
sensitive.
Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings and
It's dead too.
To walk the crime scene. We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, just to give you a little more, we will not be taking any questions at this time. We're giving you the latest.
Well, I haven't seen it, and I don't plan on
We
it.
have, but I do want to share a couple of things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware,
Look in the Discord group chat.
the FBI is offering a $100,000
Guarantee
reward
this
for
was
information
discussed
leading
with
to
many
the
people.
identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We also continue to implore the public to support.
It's crazy how like no one's talking about the shit that happened in Doha. Everyone's talking about Charlie Kirk. Everyone's talking about Charlie Kirk. The Doha storyline is dead. Completely dead. Not a single story has come out about what's going on in Doha. Do you know that Israel literally, this is what's being reported on the news. Israel bombed Qatar, Doha, Qatar. There were some Hamas and there was a peace deal being negotiated that was negotiated by Trump. Okay, so these leaders went to Qatar in order to do the peace deal, and Israel bombed them while doing peace talks, while literally trying to broker a peace deal. Israel bombed them. And so there's nobody talking about that. There's nobody talking about this whole Israel Doha situation. And it's really interesting to me how Charlie Kirk got shot and everything is all about Charlie Kirk, and there's no stories about what happened in Qatar. It's just so interesting.
Come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We are going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects. But we need,
Dude,
again, we need as many.
No
as we
cat food.
Any
No.
photos that you might have.
Go lay down.
The public should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. And that is fbi.gov.
Go lay down.
Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase.
No.
You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI or
What the
tips.
fuck was that?
FBI.gov. This is,
Oh my
this
God.
is not just a local matter here in Utah. We have people all over the country that are helping to bring this perpetrator to
I'm
justice.
fucking bleeding.
Charlie Kirk and his family. And we'll just add as
My
well
scissors
that
were
as
sitting there
mentioned
open,
here
and I
is,
just
there's
literally
a lot of
fucking
forensic
jammed
evidence that
my
is being
fucking.
processed right now at both the state lab and the and federal labs on the East Coast. So we are working in tandem together.
I just jammed that fucking the scissors underneath my fingernail.
For those people who are spending so much time on social media, I think Charlie said it best, that when things get bad, we should put our phones down and spend a little time with our families. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation. We are tracking our team, the state team, and I'm sure the federal team as well.
Gotta go spray it so it doesn't get infected because there's gotta be bacteria on it.
Russia, Israel, let's name them all, buddy.
Disinformation and encourage violence. I would encourage you to ignore those, to turn off those streams, and spend a little more time with our families. We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen here in the state of Utah. Again, to the public, to those who are grieving, thank you for your prayers. I know we are feeling those prayers. I know the Kirk family is feeling those prayers as well. We pray that God will bless our nation at this very dark time. We can start healing by finding this perpetrator and holding him accountable, and we need your help to do that. Thank you.
If Cash Patel don't say nothing, look at him scurry away. Release the files.
Cash Patel didn't even say anything. We waited all this time for him to do nothing.
Y'all, the only thing they gave us was that video. That was the only thing.
Why did he
Cash
fly all the
Patel
way to
made
Utah
them
for
wait
this? Why did we
do the
wait for
meeting
him to
till he
fly for
showed up.
this?
But then I read earlier on live that Cash Patel is in trouble with the White House. Y'all remember I read that on live? Okay, there's been some updates on the news sources we look at. 5 updates on New York Times.
Yeah, he keeps walking around with his head hung down.
Another day, y'all. Another day. Another, not only 1, but 2 kind of useless press conferences. This one did tell me one, like, big, important thing, and that is, you know, the...
Cash Patel is probably really wrestling with his demons right now because he has, you know, before he got into power, you know, he was talking about Israel. He was talking about the Epstein. He was talking about the corruption. And then he gets into office and he's, you know, he clams up and starts backpedaling and saying, you know, the opposite of what he previously said. And I'm sure that he's really having to wrestle with some demons with this. You know, he's probably looking at him walking around like he knew Charlie Kirk personally. So I'm thinking that probably he's mourning the loss of a personal friend while simultaneously feeling guilty because he knows that he is perpetuating it. He's perpetuating the problem. He's a part of the problem. He's not a part of the solution. He's one of the evil ones now, and he's gonna have to, you know, he's gonna have to wrestle with that for the rest of his life.
The video of the guy running and like running, jumping off the thing, his kneecap, and all of that. I think or he went somewhere else, maybe on a plane or something. But I think he might be in one of these houses down 800 Woodruff Street or whatever. Okay, we got some updates here. Let me click the fucking updates button. Right. 9 minutes ago, more than 30, so the press conference was less than 10 minutes, y'all. More than 30 hours after the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk, the gunman has not been captured. Governor Spencer Cox of Utah said at a news conference that officials are seeking the public's help in tracking down this evil human being. Officials are showing a video of the gunman running across the roof.
Do you want to go outside?
After the shooting and then hanging from the building and dropping down.
This is the last time I'm getting up for this bullshit.
Walks casually toward a street at the edge of campus. The police say he went into a wooded area where authorities later found a rifle. 4 minutes ago, New York Times. While showing the footage, officials described what the suspect was wearing, including his shoes, shirt, and backpack. All distinctive. All things that we would ask the public to look for in your videos that you took there, and try to identify if they know someone who has those items. 4 minutes ago, the authorities have received 7,000 leads and tips. Governor Spencer Cox of Utah said the FBI has gotten more digital media tips than it has received at any point since 2013 with the Boston Marathon situation. 2 minutes ago, the tableau of stone-faced law enforcement officials and elected leaders standing in a row feels like a deliberate effort to show the public how many state and federal agencies are trying to identify and find the shooter. It decreases my faith in them, to be honest. Like, it looks like some, sharpshooting guy didn't even know how to do a parkour roll, and y'all can't find him. 11 minutes ago, starting the news
She said
conference.
Exactly what I said.
4 minutes ago, this is CNN.
He's a sharpshooter, but he can't even get off a building.
Shooting. Officials are sharing videos and still.
One of the first things you learn in boot camp is how to climb over a tall wall.
Suspect, but they're calling it a person of interest, so I want to try to be careful with that language. Officials earlier referred to the person as a person of interest, but in the press conference this evening, they called him a suspect. Okay, thank you for that clarification. We do have 2 more updates on the New York Times that just came rolling in. 1 minute ago, the news conference is very clearly a plea for help. Officials have given no indication that they know the gunman's identity, nor where he went. We need as much help as we can possibly get. That man got on a plane and went over there to the you-know-where. Governor Spencer Cox of Utah said the authorities plan to pursue the death penalty.
Yeah, did you guys hear that there was there was a plane that left the area just a mile away from the campus? There's an airport, and a private plane took off, and about halfway through the flight, the flight tracker and everything, all that shit went out. Like, the plane was no longer being tracked, and it said restricted. So it's restricted to the public, this plane that left a mile away. So all that guy had to do was walk a mile to the airport and then get on an airplane, and he could be, in Israel, theoretically. He could have flown halfway across the world by now. I don't for one single solitary second think that this is organic, in my personal opinion. Personally, in my opinion, I think that this is another false flag to divert our attention from things, and simultaneously, Israel knew that if they lost Charlie Kirk, that it would be game over for them and the youth. when it comes to the youth. But what I do understand is that I've seen this on TikTok, a lot of the teenagers even have kind of taken this as a slight in a way, and it's like motivating them more, from what I saw people saying. But you know, kids talk a big game. We'll see what happens. But yeah, and I mean, I think that Kash Patel might actually have a conscience, though. So that's kind of what I mean. I think Charlie Kirk had a conscience, and I think that made a difference.
Let's go to CBS.
I can't believe that Kash Patel didn't speak, though. That just shows a lot of guilt, and I don't know, his body language spoke like he did not want to be there.
The video was narrated by Bo Mason of the Utah Department of Public Safety. Images were released earlier showing him wearing a shirt with an American flag and an
Kash
eagle.
Patel in trouble with the White House?
Authorities were asking the public to contact law enforcement with any tips. 1 minute ago, Utah governor says 7,000 tips in Charlie Kirk case, most since Boston Marathon bombing. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said officials have received over it's supposed to be 7,000, but they didn't put the extra zero there. We, the public, has answered our call for action. So far, the public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received that many since 2013. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal.
It's interesting they mentioned the Boston bomber.
Working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, and has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder. More than anything, we're going to catch this person. Last thing I will say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case. And that will happen here in the state of Utah. Maybe they should have shut that airport down. I do not know. Oh my God, 3 new updates from the New York Times. Hold on. We're not done yet. A lot of updates are flying in. They plan to pursue the death penalty. 2 minutes ago, Governor Cox, who has spent his tenure urging political rhetoric to be turned down, cited the words of Charlie Kirk and implored people to put their phones down and spend a little time with their families. He warned against misinformation, adding, "We desperately need some healing." Just now, officials walked away from the news conference in silence as reporters chased them, asking questions about the gunman's potential motivations and the status of the manhunt. 2 new updates from CNN.com. 2 minutes ago, officials conducted 200 interviews for the investigation. Investigators have conducted nearly 200 interviews as they work to get to the bottom of Charlie Kirk's unaliving. This is according to the governor, and we all just heard that. He said 20 law enforcement partners are working on the investigation. Less than a minute ago, Kash Patel does not speak at the Utah news conference. He did not speak at the podium or answer questions at the news conference tonight. He stood with other officials near the podium as they provided the latest on the investigation into the killing of Charlie Kirk.
Isn't he supposed to be the
So why didn't
director
he
of the
speak?
FBI? Like, that's just so weird.
You tell me. How did it get on top and off the roof? I mean, I have a lot of questions. Thank you so much, New Life Plan, for the $9.99 super chat. And thank you, Blair, said that. Yeah, why did they wait for him then? I really don't know. I really don't know. I can't believe he didn't say anything. That's weird to me. There's definitely something political going on with that, for sure. But another day, another useless press conference, like I said. It is at least an hour past my bedtime, or wash my face at least, and calm down for the nighttime. I've been refreshing my phone. I actually had decided not to do the coverage of the press conference, but then once it was coming out, I was like, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm glad we got that video. I think he hurt his leg jumping off that roof. I'm kind of insulted and embarrassed. The man made a shot that good, but he couldn't even do one parkour roll. I mean, anyway, it's all very stinky, they saying. It's a very mob-ish administration. I agree, but guess what? I think all of them are like this. That's why I don't play politics. That's all I really have for this one. Everybody have a great night. Maybe step away from the phone. There's, a wise person who I might be engaged to once said, there's really nothing you can do about it after 10 o'clock anyway, till tomorrow. So, that's all I really have for this one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, neither are opinions, and I need a lot more information and evidence before I know what the heck is going on here. Love you, mean it, okay, bye.
Donna Adelson's murder trial was never going to be an easy case. The prosecutor had been slowly gathering evidence for 11 years, and when they arrested Donna and nabbed her phone, they got even more. But her case was made infinitely more difficult by the fact that her son, Charlie Adelson, had used an utterly unbelievable defense, and the prosecution was able to pin that defense on Donna herself. She wasn't able to run from it. She was firmly tied to what Charlie had argued, and it was a defense that just was never going to work. Nearly 2 years ago, Charlie Adelson was convicted of murdering his ex-brother-in-law. Dan Markell was divorced from Charlie's sister, Wendy Adelson, but the custody battle over their 2 children was dragging on and on. At his trial, Charlie admitted paying his girlfriend $130,000 in cash. His intent being for the girlfriend to pass it on to the 2 hitmen who had killed Dan Markell. But Charlie claimed he didn't learn about the murder, until after Dan Markell was killed. He said that the night Dan Markell was killed, his girlfriend came to him and said that 2 men she knew, one of her husband and father of her children, but now they were separated, but those 2 had gone up to Tallahassee and murdered Dan Markell all on their own. And now they were demanding cash from Charlie and the Adelsons as part of an elaborate extortion plot. The 2 hitmen had killed Markell as some sort of strange favor, and now the Adelsons were going to be asked to pay, or else. All of it was somewhat confusing and unclear. It never really made sense. And at the beginning of the trial, Donna was trying to distance herself from that argument. She was arguing that, well, Charlie may have been involved in the murder. Maybe the 2 hitmen were. Maybe Charlie's girlfriend was, and maybe Charlie even was involved. But she herself had nothing to do with that. That wasn't about her, that was about Charlie. But ultimately, she wasn't able to use that argument. So Charlie's guilty verdict ended up setting the stage and limiting the defenses she was able to bring in the case. Prosecutors reused critical pieces of evidence from the case and even used his theory against his mother, Donna Adelson. Jurors were primed to see Donna as having the exact same argument, because prosecutors were able to tie her closely to exactly that argument. Prosecutors were able to show the jury that Donna had adopted Charlie's argument shortly after he made it, during and right after his trial. And now that she was on trial in front of them, she could not come up with a brand new excuse. She couldn't run from that. So the prosecutor pretty much laid out her strategy when she walked out of the courtroom and spoke to the media immediately following the conviction of Donna Adelson. Here's what she told the media.
We had a few incarnations of how to deal with the fact that she had adopted Charlie's really ridiculous story previously. We didn't want her to be able to distance herself from that and create a new, better defense, which she did seem to kind of try to be doing. So we did want to try to shove that on her and then, try to explain that to the jury. Okay, here's this whole other defense that she already adopted, and it's complicated, and it has all its pushback that goes with it. So it did feel like a difficult minefield to wade through to be able to explain all that to the jury, but we wanted to make sure they understood that, hey, she's already committed to this defense that's a loser, and now she's trying to switch it up and go to this whole other place, and you've got to pick a lane, you can't be both. So I think that's kind of what we were trying to do, so hopefully we were successful.
So by the end of the very brilliant closing argument by the prosecutor, Donna was closely roped in with Charlie and with the theory that had never worked in the first place. It didn't work with Charlie's jury, and it was not going to work with Donna's jury. Donna's jury knew that Charlie had been convicted using that argument, and it just didn't make sense anyway. It was clear if that was Donna's excuse, it wasn't going to work. So I want to look today at 6 ways the prosecution tied Donna to Charlie, how they did this so she couldn't wriggle out of his rather unusual and clearly not very believable theory about how his defense should be made. So first and foremost, I want to talk about Katie Medbanowa's testimony about the washed cash. Katie Medbanowa was Charlie Adelson's girlfriend who hired the hitman. She now admits that. She came into trial and said that on the night of Charlie's murder, she stayed at Charlie's house, and the next morning he told her, the cash is in your trunk. She took it to the hitman, put the rest in her closet. A couple of days later, she went to take out some of the cash, and as she looked at it, she realized that these bills were actually wet and had mold on them. So she testified in Donna Adelson's trial that Charlie Adelson told her his mother had washed the cash herself, as in laundered the cash in a washing machine.
The money itself was damp to the touch.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and did you ever mention that back to Charlie Adelson?
I'm pretty sure I contacted him and told him why is the money wet.
What do you mean pretty sure? You did or you didn't?
That I did.
Okay, and when you contacted him and said the money's wet, or you just mentioned that if the money's wet, did you have a response?
Yes, ma'am. He told me that.
Go ahead.
Told me that that his mom washed the money.
She physically washed the money.
Yes.
So here is what Katie said at Charlie's trial.
So I believe his parents or his mom might have washed the money.
You mean like physically washed the money?
Yes, ma'am.
And why do you think his mom did it?
Because he was always adamant about telling me he didn't have any money in his house. And he told me that his parents had just stopped by right before I got there. So all of a sudden he had money to put in the trunk of my car.
Was the money, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
I'm sorry.
Was the money already sorted out and packaged when you first saw it, or was he doing that?
No, it was already stacked and sorted out.
That was much broader than what Katie had said before. What she had said at her trial was that she wasn't involved at all. What she said at Charlie Adelson's trial was that she couldn't really be sure. It might have been a possibility that had happened, but she did not make the clear statement she made at Donna's trial that Charlie told her Donna brought the money to his house and that Donna washed it. That tied Donna directly to the cash that went to the hitman. It meant it went straight through from Donna to Charlie to the hitman. Donna provided money to pay them off. That was directly relevant to whether or not she would be held liable, guilty for, and the defense never really cross-examined Katie on this. It wasn't just Katie's testimony, though. It was also Donna's own text message sent the night of the murder. Donna had heard from Wendy Adelson that Dan Markel had been shot, that he was not expected to make it. So Donna and Harvey got in the car and began driving to Tallahassee to support their daughter and their grandsons. And on the way, a couple of things happened. First of all, Donna and Harvey took an hour longer than it would have taken to drive straight. Secondly, Donna sent a text message to Charlie saying, outside your house. And then Charlie sent a text message saying 10 minutes, suggesting that they were meeting up at Charlie's house. Charlie's house was between where they lived and Tallahassee, where they were headed. This would have been an opportunity when Donna and Harvey, if he was involved, could drop off cash, and the cash could then be used to pay the hitman. That would make sense. That fits with Katie's story. But the defense response was, well, Donna's phone could never be traced to being exactly by Charlie's house. It never pinged off the same cell tower as Charlie that night, and it never connected to the tower that was nearest his house. So they believe she never got off the expressway, and outside their house meant something different. But the jury clearly believed the prosecution. They believed that text message between Donna and Charlie tied her in to Charlie and to what he had done, what he confessed to doing, which is turning $130,000 over to the hitman. And if that wasn't for an extortion, then it was for the murder. That's what the jury concluded. Now, the third point that I think tied Donna and Charlie together was the way that Donna immediately turned to Charlie after the bump. The bump was what would I call it? The bump was a law enforcement effort where a member of law enforcement posing as a gang member walked up to Donna on the street, handed her a newspaper article about Dan Markel's murder. On it, a phone number was written and $5,000. And the man said, you need to pay me. I know what happened, and you need to take care of one of the hitmen who had not been paid directly. And that videotape of the bump, the setup by law enforcement, was replayed for the jury. They saw Donna Adelson talking to this man. They heard Donna Adelson talking to this man. As soon as she got home from picking up the grandkids, she called Charlie Adelson and immediately began to talk in code. She first told Charlie, let's talk in person. But he could not wait. He wanted to know more. He wanted specifics. And so he kept pushing her. So she began to speak in what clearly was code, like clumsy code too, like the TV is about 5. And it clearly was not something that related to anything they were talking about, but was a way of sending him a message. One that Charlie picked up on really quickly.
Charlie calls back to say, "Don't talk about things in the apartment." "Oh, obviously. Obviously. We can't talk about things in the apartment." What's obvious? Is it obvious to you? This TV is probably about 5. She's the original code talker. This TV. And look what he says. I asked you for $5,000. He decodes it. He's not the one talking in code. He's decoding it and saying what he's picking up what she's putting down. There's no TV mentioned by the undercover operative that approached Donna Adelson on the street. A couple big takeaways for you, please. Innocent people do not talk in code. Second big takeaway, TV is code for the murder throughout this case. You got Charlie's joke, Wendy's chilling statement to Jeff Lacasse, the alibi of the TV, and now here we've got this TV again.
the prosecutor, Georgia Kappelman, told the jury in closing arguments. The fact that Donna immediately turned to Charlie and the fact that she talked in code suggested the two of them were working on something together and that they had something to hide. Now, the fourth and probably most important fact is Charlie's own defense theory. At his trial, Charlie had claimed he was being extorted and only later brought his mother in. He told her he had been extorted and therefore he had to make continuing ongoing payments to Katie McBanoa. At Donna's trial, prosecutors flipped that around. If even Charlie admits she's part of the scheme and this scheme as an extortion doesn't make any sense, then what she's part of is the murder of Dan Markell. The defense never worked for Charlie, and it wasn't very likely it was going to work for Donna. But the problem was, right after Charlie had testified, and as we were waiting for the verdict, in that period of time, she wrote text messages to friends after he testified saying, "The truth is out. Yes, now everyone knows the truth." And a statement, Daniel Roshbaum, Charlie's lawyer, has proven extortion.
It's this extortion theory that we're saying that the defendant adopted when she heard Charlie's testimony and texted everyone she knew that what he just said on the witness stand was the truth. There's a concept in the law known as adoptive admissions. That's when one party makes a statement and the statement is adopted as the truth by another person. So when Charlie says in those first couple wire calls, if there's a threat, you go to the police, it's of interest that Donna doesn't say, what do you mean if there's a threat? We've been extorted for 2 years. There's been a threat for 2 years.
So she had locked herself into believing that theory. And it's this extortion theory that brought Charlie down, that didn't work for him, and that now she was tied to his. And to make matters even worse, Charlie wasn't even there to support the theory because he was never brought to testify. The fifth point is that chain of communication, which prosecutors highlighted happening over and over again, where Donna talked to Charlie, talked to Katie, talked to Sigfredo Garcia,
No
and
way,
Luis
it worked
Rivera,
out so incredibly
and sometimes it
perfect.
went back in reverse order, but it always went in that direction, just as prosecutors had said. You know, Donna, for example, told Charlie about the bump, and Charlie went to Katie McBanoa. That then locked Donna Adelson into the conversation that had been recorded between Charlie and Katie, which also involved a lot of code and a lot of statements that were unwise by Charlie. Charlie went to meet with Katie at this public restaurant. All of that was recorded, and the jury got to hear that. The conclusion then was Donna's not an outsider. She's the top of the communication funnel. She is not someone who is outside of it, someone who is part of, maybe even in charge of it all. And the last point I want to bring up is the jail call. Just a day after Charlie's conviction, she was talking to him on the phone, and she believed the phone had hung up. It had not. She was still talking, and the jail was still recording the call as she spoke to people in the room with Charlie no longer on the phone. She talked about going somewhere, specifically a non-extradition country, and she had researched Vietnam, and her lawyer didn't know whether she'd get out in time, but she might be arrested and she might not, so they were going to give it a shot. That timing tied her fate again to Charlie's. She was worried, she was next, she said that, and it made it impossible for the jury to separate what was happening with Charlie and what was happening with Donna. They were tied together again. Overall, the jury was left with the clear impression that Donna and Charlie are together. That if Charlie had an extortion theory, Donna had an extortion theory, and it made no sense. So Donna's attempt in opening to separate herself from Charlie, to say Charlie could have been guilty and I could still be innocent, ultimately didn't work for the jury. They couldn't figure out a way that could really make sense, because how would it make sense for Charlie to be involved in constantly talking to his mother? How would all of these facts make any sense if the two of them were disconnected, if Donna knew nothing about what was happening? Ultimately, the jury was left with the pretty firm conclusion that Donna was involved, that Donna worked along with Charlie, and that just as Charlie was convicted, Donna should be as well. Let me know what you think about whether Donna would have been convicted if she had not been tied to Charlie. If she hadn't been tied to Charlie, is it possible the jury would have concluded she was not guilty? Give me your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. A lot of the evidence against Donna Adelson is the same as the evidence against her son Charlie Adelson for the murder.
The world's smartest IRL streamer is back online posting more evidence against himself while he's still currently fighting for his freedom in his Korean criminal trial. What is he thinking? Actually, at this point, it's probably safe to assume that he's not thinking.
What's up? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what...
Posting every single day again, 7 videos a week with titles like "First time in Korea and chaos begins." Why he would post that, I don't know. First time seeing a black woman, and a video that's definitely foreshadowing titled "I got approached by a Korean intelligence agent." So, and I mean, at the rate he's posting right now, there's no doubt there'll be way more stuff up in time for his next court date. And that also gives the prosecution plenty of time to go through all this and just keep adding charges. Because as of now, they've been adding new charges before every single court date. And he just gave them way more ammo for it. And obviously, since it's Johnny, we know the content is not just filler content of him eating. No, this is just him filming himself committing crimes. He is literally snitching on himself. So not only did this guy live stream all of this months ago and get in trouble for it, but now he's redistributing it just a little bit over a month before his next trial date? Dude, what are you doing? Essentially, the dude is just uploading his own court case highlight reel. But again, Johnny is banned from streaming, so there aren't any new streams. He's re-uploading things that he's already done, stuff that's actively getting brought up in court, like this.
Lincoln, get out. Get out. Oh, get out. Let me tap my buddy. Let me tap my thing. He's walking up to you like, you know this walking up to you. Just okay. Leave, bro, before this. God damn, we got friends. It's okay, bye-bye. You can't.
The first time I saw somebody spinning, it It was like meditation. The sound of it especially. It seemed so ancient and timeless. The madness of modernity fading away as the wheel turned, like I was being hypnotized and drawn in by it. When I think about the spinning wheel, there's a lovely old photo that I always remember, and it's called Granny, and it shows an elderly lady with a spinning wheel outside of her Victorian cottage. It was taken around 120 years ago by the folklore collector Ella Mary Leather, and she feared that all of these things would vanish. These ways of life would disappear as industry came and swallowed up the world. In a way, of course, Ella Mary was right, as visions like those seen in the photo of Granny were once common all over the country. But when was the last time you saw such a sight? Thought about spinning and its place in our long human story? Spinning is extremely old. So ancient, in fact, that its origins are buried in time. And its story is human and spiritual, a mirror of life and its many mysteries. But today, so few of us think about it, as if thousands of years of human history have been silenced by factory,
I'm watching The Foundation too much.
And convenience.
Yules.
In 2020, archaeologists discovered what is believed to be the world's oldest piece of string, or yarn. Thought to have been made by our Neanderthal cousins upwards of 52,000 years ago. It was made from stripping the bark of a tree and wrapping it around a kind of stone tool. The strands separated and twined clockwise, then counterclockwise, to form a cord. This remarkable find shows not only that fibre is much older than previously thought, but challenges assumptions.
Do you know that they're realizing that there were 7 types of human being, well, not Homo sapien, but there were 7 humanoids living on Earth at the same time? Like Neanderthal, the Dragon Man, the one that they call the Hobbit, like all of these human creatures were all existing on Earth at the same time. Or many of them were. They said 7 humanoid creatures were alive on the planet at the same time. These are things that are coming out and that are not being promoted mainstream, but these are things that are coming out in these archaeological studies that are being done.
Their cognitive abilities and their ways of living in that ancient, unremembered past.
Well, I've just climbed up here, and would you know it, it's pouring with rain. But you know, I was just thinking that this hill, people have lived here for thousands and thousands of years, and I think that domestic history is far more interesting than anything to do with wars and battles and conquests. When you think about a place like this, people have passed by here in the old Stone Age, and then they've settled here and built long-lost villages in the Bronze Age and into the Iron Age. And it's tempting when walking through here to wonder what it is that they actually did all day. And of course, one of the most commonly seen things in a lost village like this would be spinning. One of the earliest types of spinning, they would literally take their wool, and this is just from a shop. It would have been animal fibre or plant fibre. I couldn't find any climbing up here in the rain. And they would literally just spin it out on their thigh, just literally spin it like this. And it's called thigh spinning.
They would also utilise things found in the environment. Assortments of wood, stone and bone, transformed into crude and early versions of distaff spindles, and whorls. The stone I used had a naturally occurring hole passing through it, the kind later known as a hagstone or fairy stone, believed to ward off evil and protect one from harm. And later whorls carved especially for spinning may also have had some kind of ritual or magical element, with archaeological evidence showing early whorls carved with symbols that suggest both the mundane and the mystical, their meanings unknown, and possibly suggesting some long-lost form of proto-script or symbolic communication. Such tools have also been found as grave goods, proving that spinning was an important aspect of life for women in prehistoric cultures, and onwards through time, showing up in burials all over the world. In 2024, a grave found at Skumsons in Norway revealed a Viking boat with the body of a woman buried within. With her skeleton was a bronze key, some carved stones and beads, and a large collection of textile-making tools, amongst them wool shears, a hetchel or comb to prepare the fibres, a spindle whorl, and a weaving sword. The key may have represented her position as the head of a household, likely one of high status and importance, for Viking women were able to accumulate wealth through various forms of textile work, and her burial with coins and jewellery from foreign countries, including England, suggests the rich culture of trade in clothing and textile. Some of these materials could even have travelled to Viking settlements like Jorvik, modern-day York, where excavations at Coppergate in the 1970s and 80s revealed countless traces of Viking domestic life, and textile items, including spindles, whorls and distaffs, were amongst the most commonly found items, along with other finds suggesting the city region was a hub of craft creation. The area is now home to the fabulous Jorvik Viking Museum, where a dark ride with advanced animatronic and atmospheric effects can transport you into a recreation of the old Coppergate. And when doing so, it is easy to see why such items as spindles and whorls were not only of domestic interest, they were spiritual as well. Accounts of Seder, the practice of shaping and telling the future, may have been of great importance to a culture where warfare loomed, famine and disease were rife, and mortality was high. The word itself means literally to string, tie, or tether, and may have included the entering of trance states, perhaps aided by the repetitive and hypnotic motion of spinning, and of attracting or binding spirits to make change occur in conformity with will. Such is referred to in works like the Poetic Edda, where the Norns, deities concerned with the weaving of the threads of fate, may be depicted as spinners and weavers, dwelling at the foot of the world tree Yggdrasil, and measuring the threads of each new life, its length, and when it should be cut. As well as our lives, these mysterious entities could also shape the destiny of kingdoms, epochs in time, and even the fate of the gods themselves. This, of course, is very similar to other mythologies, raising the possibility of both a common Indo-European ancestor for such beliefs, and of the global nature of spinning itself. We can see it with Istustaya and Papaya of Hittite mythology, fate weavers shown with spindles and mirrors, and of course the Morai, or the three fates of Greek mythology, shown as young sister Clotho, the spinner, who creates the thread of life. Lachesis, who measures the length of the thread. And Atropos, the oldest sister who cuts the thread and depicts the end of life. Plato imagined them as young women, with other depictions showing them older. And from Renaissance times, such figures were often depicted as a maiden, mother and crone, or triple goddess, representing the different ages and roles of women, as well as their association with other figures like Hecate, a moon goddess shown in triple form in her early worship, or of Diana, she of the huntress, the moon, and the underworld. What is clear is that spinning and weaving were both ordinary and extraordinary, and so central to the lives of women for thousands of years that the gods themselves were shown to mirror this practice.
You want to get down now?
Even the word distaff itself, from at least the 14th century,
you want to get down now?
As a general term
get away from
for
there.
The female line of one's family, the distaff.
I know what you're doing.
And may once again represent a
Don't
kind
touch
of
my yarn.
mystical poetry. The holder of the distaff
Come on.
is in possession of unmanifested potential.
Are you hungry?
Born,
Do you want me to feed you some
given
food?
life by spindles and whirls, nurtured into form,
Go.
shape, and destiny.
I'm gonna go